Welcome to Channel15Radio.com. Old-time radio drama for a new era. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we are pleased to present the third episode of our audio drama, The Ambassador, a fun, family-friendly sci-fi martial arts adventure. We are also pleased to say our show is entirely human-made. And we're the humans. Hello.
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 Hello. That was the cast of our show. We will meet them shortly. Tonight, our feature is Episode 1, Departure Day, Part 3. Captain Logan takes command of the Magellan. The ambassador reveals their mission to her team and the captain. We've arrived at the guest section.
It's almost like coming home.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I do like the view from the windows, though. There's Dagon just on the other side of the station.
Over there to the left. The third moon is just coming over the horizon.
It is a nice view from up here.
Ambassador, I'll take my leave for now. There are still a few things I need to do to get us underway.
Thank you, Captain. When you can, I'd like to have that briefing to go over the details of our mission.
I will let you know, Ambassador. Bridge, please, Maja.
Yes, Captain.
I'm going to unpack.
Did you bring snacks?
Yes. Come on. Kel?
Not right now. I'll see you later.
Namani?
No, thank you anyway.
Namani, may I see you in my quarters?
Of course, Ambassador.
Would you sweep the room, Namani?
Here?
Yes, I know. Please?
Very well. I keep a sensor cube in my pocket. All right, then. Living area? Clear. Sleeping area? Clear. You want me to... Okay. Bathing area? Clear. The sensor is glowing solid green. All clear, Ambassador.
Thank you, Namani. All this caution, even here, it makes no sense.
What makes no sense?
All the extra precautions we're taking.
Well, so far I haven't found any false walls like they had at that resort on Vega 3. I will continue looking, of course.
Yes, please.
Seriously, though, you know you have friends on the council. You know you have enemies, too. There are those on the council who would like to see you fail. They may appear to support you, and they will rally around if you succeed, but if you fail, they will be happy to make you a scapegoat.
I know. I suspect that's part of why Sorensen was promoted. Not that she didn't deserve it, she did. She's one of the best captains I've ever worked with. She has great instincts and an impeccable sense of timing.
Being careful isn't a bad thing, Ambassador. I have no wish to be pulling you out of any more piles of rubble. That last attempt on your life was much too close.
You made the headlines. Unknown hero saves survivors. Nice image of you bringing that old man out on your back. It really was impressive, Namani. I'm very glad you didn't stop to talk with their press. It could have been a problem.
Their press were happy to talk to the old man's family. He was apparently one of the local favorites. Always a kind word for everyone. There's more to it, Ambassador.
More than you being a hero?
Yes.
Namani, I know what you can do, and so do you. I'm happy you are modest about it. But sometimes... All right, then. Tell me what else happened that day.
That old man was really in bad shape when I got to him. I was with the search teams in the second building when I thought I heard something. I followed the sound. I was clearing the debris to make a way through when I saw the old man huddled in a doorway. The walls collapsed all around him. He was half buried under the rubble, shaking, afraid. Nothing I said reached him. I kept asking him to come with me. I told him I wanted to help him, but he was too scared. He couldn't hear me. Finally, I told him I was his transport. I was there to take him to see his children, and he had to get on board right now. When I knelt down to help him get up, he grabbed my shoulders, climbed on my back, and put his arms around my neck like a small child hugging his father. He started shaking and sobbing. He kept hugging me and wouldn't let me go. He couldn't talk. Even after I brought him out to his family, he didn't want to let go of me. He finally took hold of his oldest grandson and let me go.
Why didn't you tell me?
You were being treated for your own injuries. It didn't seem important.
Sometimes the smallest actions can make the biggest difference. That old man is never going to forget you. I'm more than pleased you found him.
I'm glad I was there to do it.
What do you know about Logan?
He's seen as a rising star in the Alliance. He was given the Star Cross last year for extracting a trade negotiator from a difficult situation near Epsilon Indi. The team had been told the planet was interested in trade. What they weren't told was that there were two governments that both wanted control of the food supply. When the trade negotiator arrived, he and his delegation were taken hostage. Captain Logan created a diversion by tricking their weather systems into registering an unusually cold air mass that would freeze their unharvested crops. Then, he offered to send equipment and a team to complete the harvest before the cold arrived. Once the harvesting team arrived, they insisted the trade negotiator and his team were the foremost experts and needed to handle the controls. Once they all were on the shuttle, the cold air mass disappeared, and so did the shuttle.
I heard about the rescue, but not how he did it. Clever. Can we count on Logan?
Ambassador, that's not a question you usually ask.
I need your candid assessment.
I think he will do whatever he believes is the right thing to do. He will protect the ship, the crew, and you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
We're going to find out what that means, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Ambassador, we have left the station. The captain asked if you would join him in the diplomatic briefing room with your team in 30 minutes.
Thank you, Maja. We'll be right there.
I'll go get the others.
Namani?
Yes, Ambassador?
Never mind. I'll see you in the briefing room. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you shortly.
We've left the Fomalhaut system. I can barely see the Hyades cluster through the windows. It will take us just over 2 weeks to get there. It should be enough. It has to be.
I do like being the first one in the room for a meeting. Where should I sit today?
Wherever you like. Were you daydreaming or planning?
Both. It's good to see you, Mark. How was your vacation?
It was great. I spent most of the time floating in the tree gardens on Chile 7 in the Altair system. Have you ever been there? They have the most amazing fruit. They call it pora. It's like a sweet cucumber with a hint of apple. It's wonderful. Here's a basket with some for you.
Thank you. Oh, this smells nice. So sweet. It sounds like you found a place to go back to.
Absolutely. They have several things I didn't get to try.
I'm sure you made an effort.
Yes, I did. I made a double effort. I went to the buffet every day, just like clockwork.
How many plates?
Just 3.
Only 3? Really?
Well, maybe it was 4?
Or 5?
It's possible. You just put your fruit basket in front of the captain's chair.
Mine for today.
I see.
Good morning, Captain. Commander?
Good morning.
Is everything ready, Beth?
Yes. I set up the queue for my quarters.
Good morning.
Commander, do you know what this basket is doing here?
No, Captain.
It's some fruit the doctor brought for me. Would you like some?
No, thank you, Ambassador. I'm sure we're all eager to hear about your mission. I understand you know Commander Brandon?
Yes, Captain. The commander and I have had the pleasure of working together a few times.
Lieutenant Meredith Katy is our new flight officer. She just completed her training with expert qualifications on 3 of our fighters. This is her first assignment on a starship.
Welcome, Lieutenant Katy. Pleased to meet you.
Thank you, Ambassador. It's my honor to meet you.
Shall we get started, Captain?
The floor is yours, Ambassador. Let's all take a seat.
Thank you, Captain. I appreciate that you have not been briefed until now. I had instructions to keep this quiet. We're going to the Hyades cluster to meet with the High Council of Kaylin. The Central Alliance wants to establish a treaty. Maja?
As you can see from this chart, our route will take us along this path to the Hyades cluster. Once there, we'll enter the Kaylin system. It has 4 planets, 2 suns, and a wide asteroid belt just at the edge of the system. 2 of the planets in this entire nearby asteroid belt are rich in magnesium and other rare earth minerals.
But why are we going?
We'd like a treaty, Doctor.
This overlay shows what we project those mineral deposits to be.
Jackpot!
Yes!
Indeed. The people of Kaylin, the Cora, have been mostly receptive to our overtures. So far, we've only contacted them through remote traders. This is a first contact mission.
We really are the first contact team?
Yes, Captain. We know these 4 planets formed a federation about 300 of our years ago. It appears they have developed slowly. Our traders have talked with leaders on these 2 planets. We believe all 4 planets are receptive to joining the Alliance. They have also told us quietly that the Kalan Council could be receptive to our plans.
Our plans?
I'm getting there. This asteroid belt...
But why are we going? It's a long way to go for a mining agreement. Even if we are the first contact team, why do we have to go all the way out there? Can't somebody else just go have a look-see? Why are we getting stuck with it?
Alliance merchant ships passing through the sector have reported seeing Olmeri scout ships here. They are still far enough away to not be an immediate threat to Kalan, but they are headed towards the system.
This is not good. Once the Olmeri arrive, they begin taking over any habitable planets. They drain the planet's resources to build their megacities and power their ships. They don't leave anything for the original inhabitants.
This is really not good. Our early reports are that the Korra are mostly agrarian. They don't seem to have much industry. They seem to have very limited construction abilities. Their planets are heavily forested. They don't have any large cities.
They can't defend themselves.
It gets worse. We've just gotten new reports that show the Olmeri are accelerating their timetables. We used to see a few years between the time we got reports of their scout ships showing up somewhere and when that sector would begin withdrawing from trade treaties. Now, it's less than a year.
Less than a year?
Lieutenant, be quiet.
From what we know, it appears the Olmeri are assaying the asteroid belt. We think they want what we would want, the minerals, but they don't know what's there, and we want to keep it that way. So, to your question, Doctor, why are we going? If the Olmeri keep traveling along the belt, it will bring them directly into the Kalan system.
If the Olmeri are able to establish themselves in the Hades cluster, they'll become an even bigger problem for the Central Alliance.
Yes, Captain.
They're already a problem for the Korra.
Exactly, Doctor. So we're going to do 2 things. First, we want a treaty that will allow us to set up a monitoring station near Kalan to give us an early warning about any Olmeri incursions.
Just land and ask them to sign?
Not quite, Lieutenant. This is not a flight briefing. Please keep your comments to yourself.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Namani. The second thing we want is for the Olmeri to believe that this asteroid belt is not worth their time. That even if they find a few minerals, there's not enough of anything useful to bother about. We want them to go away thinking that whatever they have found isn't worth the trouble.
How can you get them to do that?
Lieutenant Katy, that is a good question. We're going to seed the belt with other minerals to confuse their sensors.
You want to win without fighting, as the old Earth philosopher Sun Tzu would say.
If we can do it. It's going to take quite a bit of preparation and a barrel full of luck.
Being able to do either of those things seems like a pretty big challenge, Ambassador. What are we actually going to do?
If you're asking for an operational plan, I don't have one yet, Captain.
You don't have a plan?
Not yet. We have 2 weeks. I know it's not much and it's never enough, but it's what we have. If we don't go now, the Olmeri will have enough time to finish their scans. We need them to believe they found nothing and go away, and we need to do whatever we can to stop them from taking over the Kalan system.
But you don't have a plan.
You look concerned, Captain.
I am concerned. We're going to a remote area where we have few allies. The Olmeri have been spotted nearby. We have 2 weeks to prepare. You have some goals, but you don't have a plan. So, yes, you could say I am a little concerned.
Captain, you've not been on a mission with us before. 2 weeks is something of a luxury.
Okay, so I'm the new guy. I'm still concerned. I was expecting a briefing to cover the transport times, official dinners, and how you wanted me to manage any meetings on the Magellan. That's mostly what I had been doing. I'm actually happy about going to the Hades cluster. Not been there. Going somewhere we are likely to meet the Olmeri is, well, different.
Yes, I'm sure this is very different. Captain Logan, I am sorry that you have been thrown into this. I am also a bit unsettled having a new captain to work with. We are going to have lots of opportunities to get to know each other really, really well over the next 2 weeks. You will come to understand what my team and I do, but I have to tell you honestly, for this mission, We can't succeed without you, your crew, and the Magellan.
Ambassador, I didn't take this commission without understanding what it meant. We will do whatever it takes to help you succeed. But I have to be honest. The High Council didn't tell me any of this, not even a hint.
They couldn't tell you, Captain. I told you where we were going because I decided you needed to know at least that much. My team did not know where we are going or what we're going to try to do until just now.
Captain, we've been on several very quiet missions like this.
I didn't know which archives to set up until just before we started.
We really did just find out, Captain.
We're always the last to know.
My entire plan depends on making the Olmeri believe what we want them to believe. We cannot give them any opportunity to find out otherwise. They may come back and try again. That's also why we want a treaty with the Cora. We don't want to walk in the door sounding the alarm bells, but we have to do something. What that something is remains a question. Do we know what the Cora want? What do we know about their civilization history, Beth? What have you learned?
I've read all the reports we have. We don't know much about Kaylan. The Cora don't have much industry. They seem to have very limited construction abilities. Their planets are heavily forested. They don't have any large cities. They have a fusion process quite similar to ours that they use for most of their energy needs, but their ships aren't fast enough to go much beyond their local system. Their culture is focused on providing for their people. Our best guess is that the planets have more than enough magnesium and rare minerals. They don't need them, don't want them, and can't eat them, so whatever's in the asteroid belt isn't something they think of as desirable. The Cora appear to be interested in seeds and other agricultural help that we might be able to offer. That's been the conversation our traders have had. The Cora are hesitant to trade, it seems, because they haven't had that much contact with anyone outside their systems. Reports indicated they would be very concerned about any sort of outpost nearby. They would likely be alarmed by the Olmeri.
Thank you, Beth. Very good insights. Do your people know anything about the Cora, Kel?
My people have met the Cora, and we've traded with them on occasion. They didn't have much of anything we wanted, and we didn't have anything they wanted, so we've mostly left each other alone. They're generally not aggressive, although we have heard reports of some difficulties on their third planet recently. Some sort of civil unrest, apparently, to try to force a change in their ruling council. I think their council would like to have allies with big guns and long-range weapons.
I'm sure they would.
Indeed.
So, Captain, are you ready to get started with the details? We have a lot of material to cover and quite a few scenarios to review.
I need a little time to digest all this. Could we start first thing in the morning?
Certainly, Captain. It is a lot to take in. Namani, would you give us a quick summary?
Beth will continue her research of what we know of the Kalan culture and languages. The doctor will be reviewing plants, foods, and medical topics. Kel is going to make some modifications to his cruiser. The ambassador will brief you, Captain, on what she needs. I will be working with Commander Brandon and Lieutenant Katy on possible scenarios. I will also work with Maja to prepare a study plan for you.
Perfect, Namani. Thank you.
A study plan for me? I need a study plan?
Yes, Captain. Time is short.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Doctor, are you cooking for us today, or do we have to forage on our own?
I was hoping you'd ask. May we avail ourselves of Magellan's gardens and stores, Captain?
Certainly. Commander Brandon, would you help the doctor get whatever he needs?
Yes, Captain. Lieutenant Katy, come with us.
Yes, Commander.
You are welcome to join us, Captain. It should only take me about an hour to prepare something.
Thank you. I'm going to pass this time. Seems I'm going to have some studying to do.
Okay, more for me.
Can I help, Doctor?
That would be super. Thanks.
Ambassador, I will take my leave for now.
Try to get some rest. It really is a lot to take in.
Thank you. See you in the morning.
Now then, Kel, Namani, let's take a closer look at this 3D map of the Kalan system. We need to study where we're going.
Record. Private. Captain's log. Finally found out what we're going to be doing. It's not going to be easy. She wants so many details arranged in advance. It's way too much. Why does she need to plan out every possible scenario instead of just the most likely? I suppose being thorough isn't a bad thing, but I'm going to have to schedule double shifts to get all this set up in time. I really hope she knows what she's asking. Even with the Olmeri in the area, it's more than we need.
Captain Logan,
Yes, Maja.
there is an archive you haven't seen yet. It will help you understand why the ambassador is asking for all these preparations.
Really? Another one?
It does take time, Captain. You couldn't review all the archives all at once anyway.
I suppose not. What's in this one? More plants and seeds?
No, Captain.
Well?
This one has Captain Sorensen's personal logs and mission reports from the previous missions the ambassador has flown on the Magellan.
Captain Sorensen's logs?
Yes, Captain.
I've seen them.
Not these, Captain.
No?
The ambassador asked me to give you some time, but if you have these concerns, you should look at these now. You have to know.
Know what?
I've released the full archive to your comm. Start with the last mission the Magellan flew for the ambassador. We just missed an encounter with the Olmeri.
Just missed?
Yes, Captain.
Maja, this is not a small archive.
No, Captain.
Extend my thanks to the ambassador, will you?
Of course, Captain. Is there anything else I can help with?
No, Maja, thank you. Seems I have quite a bit more to learn.
Yes, Captain.
Say goodnight, Maja.
Good night, Captain.
Hello, Aswana. I hope you're well. It's been a few weeks now since I got this assignment. I'm happy about it. Mostly. Ambassador Lawrence is quite demanding. She's nice about it, but she seems to think everything gets done just because she asked. I'm not complaining so much as... Well, yes, I'm complaining. She really does expect a lot. Not just from me, everyone. I suppose if she didn't ask, she wouldn't have much of a team. But I have to tell you, I haven't worked this hard to keep up with requisitions and reports since I started. I'll get them under control eventually. Meantime, it's quite an adventure being out here. The treaties she is negotiating are so important to the Alliance. I am still not certain how she does it. I'd like to learn. The days on the ship all seem to be mostly the same now. We get up, we exercise, we eat, we do research or have meetings. The routine helps keep us going, but I wish we could have some variety once in a while. I wouldn't mind being on a planet for a week or two. I hope the fall planting has gone well. What about the walnuts and chestnuts this year? Was there a good harvest? I miss the smell of roasted chestnuts on a crisp fall evening. Next time I visit, we could make some, even if it's not fall. And if we could take a walk around the lake where we used to cut bamboo, that would be great. As much as I try to look ahead, sometimes I miss those days with all of you. Take care of yourself. Namani.
Commander, you have a private text communication from Dagon. Not urgent.
Who's it from?
Your mother.
I need to finish connecting these cables. Would you read it for me?
Of course. Dear Sarah, your dad and I were very happy to hear from you. I know it must be hard on you right now, but think about everything you've already done. Remember your first few days at the academy? That was hard, too. It took a lot of courage for you to keep going. You have it in you. Every time you had to do something, you found a way. You always do. Well then, on a completely different subject, that stray cat adopted us. His name is Freddie. I'm sure he'd like you. This morning we went out early. There were 3 red birds in the yard. 1 sat in a tree. 2 were on the ground hopping and chasing each other. They flew up and down into the trees. Freddie just watched. He wasn't much interested in chasing them. I suppose he figured out he wouldn't be able to catch them. The peonies are just starting to flower. The pink ones and the white ones are open, but the red ones have only got buds so far. It won't be long. Another week or 2. I made some peanut butter cookies. They didn't last long. I wish I could have sent you some. I'm sure you have many things to do, running the ship and all. I just wanted to let you know we're here. Your dad sends his best. Love you, Mom. That's the end of the message, Commander.
Thank you, Maya.
Your mom likes cookies too?
Yes, she makes very good cookies. Maya, do we still
Yes,
have...
Commander. The crew wasn't particularly fond of that peanut butter paste.
I think that's about to change. Let's go make some cookies.
Who could that be, Namani? You're here with me. Only our team and the crew know where I am.
And me.
Well, yes, President Smbarak, I'm here with Namani.
My greetings, Madam President.
Thank you, Namani. Ambassador, I have some news.
I'll be leaving then.
No, you should stay for this.
Really?
Not entirely.
Ambassador, what are you so happy about?
You have been granted provisional clearance by the High Council. It doesn't cover everything, but it's a start.
Thank you, Eliel. How did you...
Minister Paragos.
He really wants those reports, doesn't he?
Oh, yes. Yes, he does.
Thank you, President Smbarak.
Don't thank me. You haven't seen her requisitions and expenditures archives.
I'm looking at them now. But there seem to be a few things in the allocations that weren't requisitioned.
Oh, maybe one or two.
Namani, please let me know if you have any trouble accessing or tracing anything.
Thank you, Madam President.
Really? Wow. Minister Paragos seriously wants those reports.
So does the rest of the High Council. But now, they won't expect them until you get back.
Oh, great.
Good luck. Stay safe.
She was serious, wasn't she?
Yes, I'll help. But those reports will wait. Right now, we need to go fish those wine bottles out of the rice bins before Commander Brandon finds them. Join us next time when the Doctor finds a way to win the trust of their soon-to-be new friends on Kaylin and discovers Beth has a secret even she doesn't know. That's all for tonight. We'd like to say thank you to our performers, starting with Terry Morgan, the voice of the Ambassador. Good night. Jennifer Bonaparte, the voice of President Aliel Smbarak.
Good night.
Ricky Boyles, the voice of the Doctor.
Good night.
Pat Jones, the voice of Commander Brandon.
Good night.
Tim Powers, the voice of Captain Alexander Logan.
Good night.
Mickey Guerin, the voice of Maja, the Magellan.
Good night.
Sean Scott, the voice of Namani and Ramlar.
Good night.
Jordan Harbin, the voice of Kel.
Good night.
Emily Shuley, the voice of Beth Michaels.
Good night.
Zoe McKay, the voice of Lieutenant Meredith Katy.
Good night.
Thank you to everyone who listened to our show. We appreciate you being here with us. Good night. Mommy, tell me a story. What kind of story would you like? Tell me a story of princesses and kings with swords and jewels and magical things, where the heroes could be me and the tales they tell of worlds far away carry me home. You've been listening to Channel15Radio.com. Old-time radio drama for a new era.